people couldn't get on here. So welcome to our team huddle. I'm just going to give you an idea what we're going to do tonight, and then we'll get started here. Basically, I want to kind of get a kind of summary of how people's weeks were, things to take away from the week, challenges, things like that. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about blood sugar balancing. What I did was I went through your surveys because they get sent to me. And some of the topics, I'm going to try to cover those during the Zoom calls. The ones that people checked off the most. And the two that were the highest that people checked off as far as things they wanted to know was one was the blood sugar balancing and the other was healthy meal planning. So I'm going to kind of touch on those a little bit tonight. And just kind of get our week set up so that we're set up for our week number 3 that we're going into. So starting with that, how's everybody's week? I was kind of looking at the different comments for the week. You guys are really participating. I'm very proud of our team this time. It seems like we're getting a lot more team participation and interaction and comments on each other's comments, which is great. Very supportive. It really helps each other. So, but what kind of like want to hear, your takeaways from the week, any pros, cons, pluses, minuses, things that really helped, things that you're still challenging with. Anybody want to start off with how their week went? Anybody? Just
my mom's gonna speak up. He said, "Yeah, sure, you always always say stuff." I'm like, "What? I'm getting kneed in the back or something here, noise or something. I don't know." So it was good participation. And those comments of what you're going to talk about is exactly what Bruce was asking earlier in the week of balancing sugars and everything and meals. Glycemic index, that I've been preaching for a long time. So yeah, good.
Okay, good. Anybody else? You just have to unmute yourself if you want to say something, or raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Anybody else have any challenges or things that takeaways that they really liked from this week, or things that really helped or didn't help? Okay, okay, Jen, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I would say this week I had a harder time actually eating every 3 hours. I did better on exercise, though. I took your advice and just started exercising when I started watching the 15-second split for the day.
Good.
So that went well. And drinking water, I think I've gotten that down. I'm a lot thirsty more often, so it's easy to drink a lot of water.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm glad we're talking about meal planning tonight, because I did have a hard time with that this week.
Okay, good. The meal planning every 3 hours, you said, it's just because of the timing or the planning?
Honestly, I think I probably planned too much food each time. That's probably what happened. So I wasn't really hungry, so then I had to really be watching the clock in order to be eating every 2 to 3 hours. So I think I'm probably just planning too big of meals, or maybe not the right stuff. I don't know. So it was mainly timing. I did try to really plan out to have enough food throughout the day, but really remembering to stop and eat.
Okay. And your calorie load, are you doing are you counting calories, or what are you doing for your program?
Yeah, I did get on my Fitness Pal. That's probably another issue. I was doing it pretty well, but then I kind of, towards the end of the week, just forgot and stopped going on there.
Okay.
So, a little bit of both. Probably some counting, but probably should be doing more counting.
Okay. Good. Okay, Ed has a comment. Go ahead, Ed.
I had a mixed week. One, I wasn't able to establish my workout routine. My goal for this challenge was to increase my base strength and everything, and I haven't really been able to do that part of it with getting the exercises fitted in with keeping up with family issues, et cetera, et cetera. So that was sort of disappointment. A good thing, though, is I think the real test is last night we had one of our club events, which is probably one of our biggest temptations for doing evil food and everything, if anything. And what we did, we planned out, we had our meal before left, lean and green, pork chops and salad. And then on the way there, I got myself a Americano large coffee with some skim milk in it, and went to it, and we just had a ball. There was tons of food there. There's tons of desserts, tons of wine and everything else. And I chose to enjoy my coffee and the conversation of people and had a lot of fun anyway. So I was proud of myself. Yay.
Good, very good. Yay, Cheryl said yay.
Yeah.
How about any other comments? I know, Laura, you had a challenging weekend with your graduation party, but you sound like you stayed pretty much on track with it. I'm very proud of you there.
Yeah, I didn't really have much time to eat, so that wasn't an issue.
So that's good. You invite a lot of people, and you're too busy to talk to eat them.
Every time I sat down to eat, which all I had on my plate was a salad and a seafood salad that was mostly all meat. There was really no filler. Somebody else would either leave or somebody else would come in. So
Yeah.
I got like 3 bites of salad and 3 stuff. So actually, it was probably bad in the reverse way of not enough calories.
But all the unhealthy stuff was eaten by the time that she got to it.
Well, that's good.
Not really. There was still plenty of stuff there.
Salad was still there.
And I had like 4 bites of cake and then threw the rest out. So
Good.
I didn't even eat any of the icing on it. So.
And that's good, because that's kind of how you handle dessert. Because basically, after the first 2 bites, all it is calories. You've gotten your taste, you've gotten the sweetness, you've gotten your fix. So just, if you feel you want something, and you don't want to deprive yourself, so have it. But make sure you take 2 tastes and put it away. Put it away and walk away from it, or have the waitress take it. Whatever. Even if you share something with somebody, share it with a whole table of people. Don't just share it with your spouse or your friend or your whoever, because that's still a large portion. So something to think about during the dessert.
I like Bruce's cake, where he ate the middle of the cake but left the icing down the middle and around the edges.
I'll post a picture.
Mine didn't look like that.
And Sharon, you were there too. Any issues with you dealing with the parties?
Can't mute.
You're on. Hang on.
Oh, you can hear.
Yeah, because you're on your phone. Go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me. No, I did pretty good.
All right.
I hear a lot of noise.
Right.
Yeah, I did pretty good. I did have a little piece of bacon. That was fine. I was just slightly over on calories, but I think overall through the week it's been pretty good because I've been tracking my meals on the MyFitnessPal.
Good.
MyFitnessPal. And I'm finding it's really helpful to do that in addition to, on the website, because I'm able to spot things like, oh, I'm over on my fat content for the day, I'm over on sweets or sugars, and so I can start to learn to cut where I need to cut back. So I'm finding that helpful. And then, of course, earning extra calories with exercising, and, whether or not to consume them. So it's helpful. But, yeah, the party was great. I had a great time. I got a little jealous. I saw Laura's piece of cake they gave her. It was huge. It was like an 8-inch cake, but she did not eat it. I was proud of her.
Good. Way to stop challenging shoes. Where'd he go? Okay. Okay, John, looks like John just got on. I know he's been traveling. So we're just kind of summarizing our week. Any challenges, weaknesses, things we learned, took away from, any ideas, anything you want to say, John? Or
No, just lack of enough time to focus on more than just the diet and things like that. So
yeah. Okay.
Stuff you know about.
Okay. We're talking, this is our team huddle. Anyway, any other ideas? Any other people want to say something? Go ahead. Let me unmute you a second, Ron. Hang on. Okay, go ahead, Ron.
We go on a calorie basis, and we try to go. We had to set up. We do like 300 to 400 for breakfast, then 100 calorie snack. Then lunch we do 100, 200 calories, and then a snack. And then for dinner we do 400 calories, then a snack in between dinner and bedtime. And that's 1,100 to 1,300 calories a day.
Okay.
And it works works out pretty good. The snacks aren't much, celery and cottage cheese or something like that, but
Good. Yeah, your snacks are going to have about 100 calories, and I was going to kind of cover this a little bit later too, but you're right. Splitting up your calories throughout the day is exactly what you want to do. And like you said, sounds like you got to handle it, but you have to decide what total calories you want to work with as far as your weight loss. Ideally, 1,200 calories or less, like 1,000 to 1,200 calories is a weight loss program. And then you go to maintenance, you've got to calculate into that what you're going to do as far as where your weight you want to maintain and the exercise you're going to incorporate in it and how many calories you do it. There's a whole formula for that. But for weight loss, ideally you want to have like 1,000 to 1,200 calories for your weight loss part, for when you're in, because then you're getting into fat burning state then. So very good, Ron. So it sounds like you have a great plan. And is it
easier so you're not eating too much in your snacks. You don't have to have equal meals all throughout the day.
Right. And is it working for you? How's your weight loss coming?
I'm about halfway there.
Perfect. Good. Hi, Kira. You joined us here. We're just talking about our week. Any ideas or any things, issues or anything you want to talk about or anything? You're muted. Hang on a second. Go ahead. Whoops, I took you off. There you go.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
My biggest issue is my family's eating habits and how they affect mine. I'll eat really good meals and then blow it on snacks because they bring in cookies and all this other stuff. I'm struggling with that a little bit.
Okay. Now they know you're trying to deal with losing weight. Have you talked to them about maybe hiding the snacks so that you don't know where they are?
Yeah.
Or not getting them, or getting something you don't like?
He does that with the ice cream, which I'm thankful for. But he brought cookies, even though I told him to buy carrots and mushrooms, because there's a sale where you get gas points. So he brought the carrots and mushrooms, but then he brought cookies too. So I'm like, okay, there's cookies on the kitchen table, and then he would hide them. But then throughout the day, he's eating them in front of me too. So it's a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah. Now that is challenging when you're living with somebody that's being a saboteur, as I call them. So, all right. Well, let me get to a little bit what we wanted to talk about tonight. If you did the reading of the video that Dr. Nelson did earlier this week, he kind of touched on this. And basically, your blood sugar is what you need for energy, and it's what your body, survives with. When people go on quote unquote diets where they either skip meals or they're calorie starving or things like that, unless you spread calories out over the day, you will not lose weight, you will gain weight. And the reason being is that if your body senses it's not being fed, it actually will hold on to fat calories because it's going into survival mode. That's what our bodies do. It's a defense mechanism. So in order to trick your body into allowing you to have less calorie intake so that you'll burn fat, you have to give it sugar. You have to give it calories. You have to give it nutrients. So the way you do it is say if you're going to do a 1,200 calorie or 1,100 calorie diet, you need to spread the calories over the day. But the most important thing is that you have your first meal, your first calorie intake within the first 30 minutes of getting up because your body needs energy. So if it's not fed for the first couple of hours, it's sensing you're starving it. It holds on to calories. You're not going to burn it. You're not going to lose weight. So it's real important that you set your meal plan up, and we'll talk about meal planning in a minute. Set it up so that you're feeding your body sugar. I say sugar, I mean energy. So you're eating low carb, lean proteins and low saturated fats, the small portions of those throughout the day, but get a meal in and you get your proteins in the morning, midday, afternoon, as well as your snacks. So having 3 meals and then having snacks in between, your blood sugar, instead of doing this, where say you get up in the morning and you start with a glass of orange juice. What happens is a glass of orange juice is all sugar. So what happens is your sugar is going to skyrocket up. you don't give it any protein or anything, and you run to work, and then 2 hours later, all of a sudden you're feeling like you want to fall asleep because guess what? Your body's metabolized that sugar already, and all of a sudden it's going to drop suddenly. So you get that yo-yo effect that Dr. Nelson was talking about on his picture there, where you see blood sugars going up and down all day long. Because every time you give your body some food or some sugars and it's burning it, it's going to break it down to sugar, and then the liver sees that. It sends insulin to burn it down, break it down. So your body's constantly doing that up and down cycle. And you're constantly challenging your pancreas to handle this as far as the insulin to handle the sugar reserves that you have. So you want to have protein throughout the day, so that's your energy food. Low carbs when you're in a weight loss program, because carbs turn quickly to sugar. So if you have more complex carbs, they don't burn down as quickly, they don't turn to sugar as quickly. But guess what? They'll stay longer, and you'll use them as your energy reserves that the body can use, senses it's being fed, and will use that as energy, and then your body will stay in more of an even keel with your blood sugar throughout the day. So if you're going to have orange juice, although I don't recommend orange juice because it's full of sugar, if you're going to have a fruit, have it as a fruit, not as a juice, because you're getting all sugar in the juice. Have it as a fruit where you get the pulp, so you get fiber in it. So that's actually less sugar content in it. If you think about it, if you were juicing oranges, we in Florida do this a lot. So if you're juicing oranges, it takes probably like 5 or 6 oranges to get, a decent glass of orange juice. So that would be like as if you're eating 5 oranges with all the pulp and everything. So that's a lot of sugar. So you want to try to stay away from the juices and go more with your fruits, and stick with a tomato juice, which is less sugar in that than a orange juice would be. And then, like I said, having lean protein with your morning meal, and then a smaller calorie, with your meal with like 2 to 3 hours, because again, after you've eaten, your blood sugar rises, and then you don't want it to drop suddenly down. So what you want to do is do a more of an even wave, nice and slow up and down wave, smaller peaks and valleys. And that way your body is going to sense that it's being fed. And guess what? The calorie amount, which is less, so calories in equals calories out. So if you are eating a low calorie amount, then you're going to burn it and you will lose the weight. Your body will sense that it's not getting it's getting enough nutrients, but the calories are less, so you'll burn it and you'll go into a fat burning state, and your weight will come off. Drinking the water helps to get the toxins out, so you're flushing all those things out as well, but also feels like you stay full longer too. That's why drinking the water first thing in the morning, you're getting up at the middle of the night, you're actually dehydrated when you get up in the morning. Hydrate yourself before you even eat a meal, and it'll help to flush the calories and things along and get your body circulating with all the fluids it needs as your day goes on as well. So that in a nutshell is very quick on blood sugar balancing. I know we have some medical people out there, so I'm doing it more in the non-medical terminology and try to understand it. So, but does anybody have a question about blood sugar balancing or issues as far as why it's important to have the frequent small meals that you do for a weight loss program? Okay, Sharon, go ahead. You're on. You're
hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One of the questions I had about that is, because I've heard people say, like, in the morning, you should eat as soon as you get up. Now, I was doing something like a protein shake, and a protein shake would be more like, I guess, a replacement meal, maybe a good snack, because it's only like 100 or 200 calories. And if I'm trying to, like, balance my meals over the course of the day, I would think that, like, breakfast and lunch and dinner, try to get them about 400 each. And also, like, because I know I weigh more than, other people. As far as calories, are you recommending, like, everyone should be around 1,200 for fat burning?
Mm-hmm. Yes. It doesn't matter whether you're 600 pounds.
I'm just curious.
It doesn't matter whether you're 600 pounds or you're, 150 and only want to lose 20 pounds. Fat burning, you need to give your body less calories. 3,500 calories equals a pound. So you need to decrease it by that much in order to lose a pound, whether you're 600 pounds or not. Generally, though, people that weigh a lot more are going to lose it quicker than somebody that only needs to lose 15 or 20 pounds. But your body still senses it. Now, if you're used to giving yourself 3,500 calories a day, I'm using the extremes here, obviously. If you're used to giving yourself a lot of calories and you go from 3,500 to 1,200, your body's going to tell you, hey, what the hell are you doing here? You know, so you're going to have a couple of days where you go into, you know, like almost like a withdrawal type thing. So we just recommend giving a lot of extra fluids. If you do get kind of the shakes and all, we have them, you know, again, we do a different program. We're doing meal replacements with ours. And I mean, my breakfast is generally 100 to 110 calories. And my snacks, all my meals are, except for my dinner, is anywhere from 100 to actually 90 to 110 calories. But that's the program that we're doing. And so if we go to, and ours is like anywhere from 800 to 1,000 calories. But that's for anybody, whether you're, like I said, if you're 600 pounds or if you're, you know, but again, those first couple of days, we tell people that, you know, you're going to get, you know, the sense of like, I'm starving. And it's not that you're starving. Up here, you think you're starving because your calorie intake is decreased. Your body's going to change, you know, because you're used to eating a bigger portion. So you're going to think you're hungry. You're not. You're satisfying what your body needs are. Drink more fluids. You get more of a more fullness, more of a satiety, but that's what your body needs. You know, you'll see a lot of things out there that'll say, well, you shouldn't do that. You say, well, weight loss, every weight loss program you look at, every dietitian you talk to, they're all going to say the same thing. Fat burning, you want to be about 1,200 calories. Now, some will say, well, men should be more. Really, they don't. They don't have to be. If you're diabetic, that could be different. You need to talk with your endocrinologist or your primary care doctor, because if you're diabetic, you may be on medications and you might have to alter it a little bit, but that would be the only person that I would warn or caution to. Or if you have blood sugar issues where you have low blood sugar, you actually will do better by doing a meal replacement or eating, you know, your calorie load throughout the day, because usually people that have low blood sugar problems are people that are eating the wrong foods and are getting spikes in their sugar and they drop too quickly. So again, those are the issues, the only issues I would caution about otherwise. But again, like I said, it depends on the program you're on and what you're following. But again, there's nothing wrong with doing protein where you're only having 110 calories. Because if you're doing 400 calories, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's 1,200 calories right there. And then you're not getting anything in between. So, you know, you're going a little bit over it. And, you know, if that's what you need to do for now and you're losing weight, that's fine. But you're going to get to a point where your body's not going to continue losing the weight. Typically, a healthy weight loss is anywhere from, on a weekly basis, about 2 to 3 pounds. In the beginning, if you're really heavy and you need to lose a lot of weight and you're getting on a regimented calorie intake, then you're going to see probably, you might get 5 to 7 pounds the first couple of weeks, and you might get 3 to 5 pounds thereafter for the next few weeks until you start getting your weight down. But the calorie reduction diet will do that. You'll lose it pretty regularly if you're doing it right by eating, like I said, the calorie load throughout the day and eating every 2 to 3 hours. Okay? Okay. Any other quick questions? And I want to get into meal planning here. Okay. Kind of going along with the blood sugar balancing is you want to plan your meals. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to eat because everybody's on a different kind of program. I can tell you what I eat, but I do, like I said, I'm on meal replacements now because I have a set goal of pounds that I want to lose in a certain amount of time. So that's what works best for me. So you have to work what's best for you. And counting calories, I don't do well because I hate counting calories. I mean, I do that when I get on to more of a maintenance thing, but we kind of do a regimented thing then, and it's easy because the calories are usually about the same all the time. But when I'm on a weight loss regimen of what I'm doing now, that I do meal replacements. So that's me. And I'm, like I said, I need that discipline. But as far as meal planning, again, I talked about getting your breakfast within the first 30 minutes of getting up. Best time for meal planning is when your downtime is, okay, on the weekend. An evening that you want to sit down with your significant other, friend, family member, whatever, and plan your meals for the week. Planning will help to make a better, successful week, because if you don't plan, and you actually have to plan for the unexpected too, but if you don't plan for your week, then what's going to happen is you're going to get up on Monday morning and you're going to say, okay, what do I want to have today? Well, I'm running a half an hour late, you know, and I got to get to work and I got to do this and all. So I'm not going to get I'm going to forget to eat and I'm just going to grab something on the run. So by planning what you're going to have for breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, or if you're doing 5 meals, you might be giving up one of those snacks. But by doing that, you're going to have it ahead of time and plan it. So if you're doing 1,200 calories, it's kind of like Ron said, you want to do you can do 300 calories for your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. You can do 200 for breakfast and lunch and do a little bit more for dinner. Dinner tends to be a little bit more because usually you have a little bit more protein, a bigger salad. You might have a complex carb in there like a sweet potato or a quinoa or something where it's more complex. Those things, so you can plan accordingly, but you want to try to make sure you get 100 calorie snacks at least at those other 2 meals. Jen, you'd mentioned you might be eating too much. Well, maybe cutting down the calories for your snacks in between and having, maybe a smaller meal and your bigger one in the evening, or your bigger meal at lunchtime where you're going to be more active throughout the day and you'll burn those calories more. That sometimes works for people as well. So those are probably the most things, and even shopping for your week. A lot of times what we'll do is I'll shop on the weekend or a day during the week because I'm off during the week. I have flexible hours during the week, but what I did today is I kind of got our meat for the week and fish and things we're having, and I kind of packaged it up, and I have our meal plan set up for the week, as well as our vegetables and things like that. So I kind of have that planned ahead of time so that I know, okay, this is what we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Well, okay, all of a sudden I found out, we have a meeting to go to Tuesday night or Wednesday night. Okay, well, you know what? We're going to have to eat out. So that meal is going to get put on the side, so we're going to grab something healthy on the way, So, again, you have to plan for the unexpected. Like if your meeting runs late and you don't get home in time for dinner, have a healthy snack bar with you in your purse or your car that you can have so you have an extra snack and then have your dinner later and forget your evening snack. Planning ahead of time for the unexpected. If you're out and you forgot to bring your lunch that day, go out and, buy something that's healthy, some lean turkey meat and, a salad with it. Those things work too, as far as what you can have, if you didn't plan ahead of time, getting something that's lean while you're out. You can go to Subway, just don't get the bread with it, get the roll up with the lunch, put it on one of their salad greens. I don't necessarily recommend that, but if you don't plan ahead of time or if you run into a crazy situation, then at least plan for something that's a little healthier to pick from. That's kind of a quick way because we're getting lower on time than I thought. Go ahead, Ed. Has a comment.
Well, just a quick one for planning. Planning to take all those magnets off your refrigerator of the pizza place, the hot wings place, and all that too. Every time I get hungry, I see one of those magnets. Dispose of it.
You see them?
I feel it.
The Braille. The Braille magnets. Okay. Any other questions or comments or ideas? Or go ahead, Jen. Can you unmute you?
Yeah, I got it. Okay. I just want to add in there. I heard this saying, and it really applies here. If you fail to plan, you fail to fail.
That's right. That's exactly.
Kind of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah.
That, and I'm definitely eating too many calories. Between my fitness pal, it told me too much, and I even printed out the 1,300 calorie thing from this, and so I just have to get less calories. That'll probably help me out a bit.
It's hard sometimes, to sit there and measure things out, but it's, there's a quick down dirty way of doing it. If you're not actually counting calories, but you want to have smaller portions, they talk about, the deck of cards for your protein or even your plate. We only use luncheon plates now. We don't even use dinner plates anymore. The only time I use dinner plates is I make a big salad and we put some chicken strips or something on it, and it's easier for him to eat that way. But we use dinner plates because if your luncheon plate is full, okay, it looks like you're psychologically you're telling yourself you're eating more, because it's a bigger plate, it's full. Whereas if you had your dinner plate, and you only had a small little piece of protein on there, and you had your salad, or your whatever you're going to have for your carb, and it doesn't, you're going to say, well, heck, that's not a whole lot there. And so you feel like you're hungry when you're done, and you're really not, but it's a psychological thing. So you have to psych you up for things that would work better for you. Any other comments? Anybody on the John, did you have a comment or a question? I can't see you raise your hand, so.
I didn't raise my hand.
Okay. Any other concerns, questions, any other ideas or things might work for you, that is working for you, that seems to be successful? I know, Gary, you mentioned you're doing better with getting into a regimen and all, so that's helped you as far as having a regimen to with your planning and everything?
It's been a lot easier now, but been on it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the comments, one of the things that they had this week was about, good habits and bad habits, and good habits are just as hard to break as bad habits. So if you get rid of the bad habits and you get the good ones, and habits, again, they come from continually doing something. And right now it's having an awareness of what you're doing at all times is what's going to help you start to develop good habits and get rid of the bad habits. The reason we have those habits is because we've gotten to a routine of doing something the same all the time, always grabbing this, always doing that. So it's a way of where you're always aware of everything you're doing. You're stopping, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the stop, challenge, choose, but you stop, okay, what am I doing right now? You challenge, okay, do I really want that cookie that my dad has sitting out on the table here? No, I don't, because you know what? I'm going to get down to my goal weight, and I'm working on it, and I'm working hard, so I don't want to ruin it today because I'm already in fat burning today. And I'm going to choose not to have the cookie. I'm going to go in there and have, some veggie sticks instead. So, things like that you stop, you challenge, you choose all day long, every day, what your decisions are going to be. So, any last minute comments here? We got 3 minutes to go here. Go ahead.
Yeah, is there a best time to exercise if you're going to do like the Bowflex stuff?
You don't want to do it right before a meal or right after a meal. So you kind of want to plan it in. Ed's more in the fitness thing. You want to make a comment about this?
To me, the best time is first thing in the morning. If you have to get up earlier, do it. There's no meeting planning. There's no unexpected happenings. You're in full control of your mornings, 99% of the time. Of an evening, it's a crapshoot, probably 50% of the time, because who knows what happens in the evenings. As far as that time, and like I say, don't exercise right after a meal.
Okay.
I do exercise. When I get up and feed my dog, I have my first meal, 110 calories. And so I have my coffee, and then I get into my routines. I do sort of exercise right after that.
Yeah. Again, he's having this bar, because again, you want to eat something within 30 minutes of getting up too. So if you want to have something like that, then you set on exercise, and you don't want to have one of your heavier meals. Then you want to have maybe a lighter meal, and then go, exercise, and then you can do your workout then. But you're right. First thing in the morning is generally the best time to do it, only because your day is going to start getting crazier after that. But it kind of depends on your schedule. People that work night shift, people that work evening shift, obviously it's going to be different. But if you have a day that's going to start at 8 o'clock for you to be at work, then you might want to get up at 6:30 and do a 30-minute workout before you get going. Ideally 45 minutes. You need to at least a 45-minute workout of something aerobic, 20 to 30 minutes, and then getting into some weights as well is also, that's probably ideal. If you haven't done if you haven't done any exercise program and you start a weight loss program, you have to be careful. So you don't want to do it in the beginning. Okay, we're gonna have to say our goodbyes because I'm down to my last 6 seconds here. So we'll see you next Sunday. Any questions, concerns? Always text me, call me, whatever. Otherwise, I'll see you next Sunday.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye now.